Warning. Thunder Talk contains foul language, adult subject matter, and is intended for mature audiences.
San Juan correspondent and dear friend of the show, Phillip Alexander Coss, reports on the growing crises in Puerto Rico. We discuss the controversy around the new 007 announcement. Jon Rassmusen of REVELATOR stops by Studio D to drop some rage as well as their new EP. Beth and Kawika talk about games, baby. We get taken to school on spoiler etiquette. Hell freezes over as Adam turns Dan onto some WWE. All that plus a little ASMR. Lightning Lad, roll the thunder.
The Weirdos Workshop presents Thunder Talk. Beth, Sexy Thor, Kawika, Thunder Talk.
Las manifestaciones contra el gobernador de Puerto Rico llegaron a Nueva York. Cientos de personas se reunieron en la Plaza Unión.
Yeah, we are joined by Phillip Alexander Coss from San Juan, Puerto Rico. We also have Beth and Kawika with us right now.
Hey. Welcome, Phillip.
Hey, guys.
There have been charges, accusations. There's a scandal happening right now having to do with contracts handed out to certain government officials, misappropriation of funds, embezzlement, and whatnot. Here to tell us more, Phillip, welcome.
Hey, guys. It's great to be here.
Oh, welcome, Phillip.
Thank you. Well, if you've been following the news for this past week, the FBI arrested three top executives from different agencies. One was from the Department of Education, the other one was with a health-related agency, public health.
Okay.
And the third official is not a government official. The third official was a contractor for a very famous accounting firm, and the president of said accounting firm in Puerto Rico was also involved. And the FBI very quickly made these arrests, and the governor, in a way, it involved the governor because the governor was the person that appointed these people to their posts. And so it made him look really bad. At the same time, he was facing accusations of corruption because a certain official that was the Secretary of the Treasury here at that time, he over the radio he said that it was an institutional mafia, and almost immediately he was fired from the post. Yeah, from his post.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, and then his son, which was also working with the government, either directly or indirectly, but the point is that he was within the governor's circle. He accused the governor of corruption, and very slowly, I believe, there are rumors that he had a transcript of conversations involving the governor and his circle of people that is over 900 pages long, and it's that thing is radioactive, and they are very slowly leaking it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and every single leak that comes out is just another firebomb, and the governor was vacationing in Europe when this happened. He had to cancel his vacation and return immediately. This happened on Thursday.
Poor him.
Mm-hmm. There were protests at the airport. They followed him over to the governor's mansion in Old San Juan, and there are calls for him to resign. And the very first thing that he did was that he admitted that the comments on that chat are true, and then that he would not resign. And he did. He also was mentioning possibility of running for re-election, which I think is surprising.
Oh wow,
to say the least. But after that press conference, it just keeps exploding. Like, things just keep coming out, and calls for him to quit are so strong. I believe that his reputation is in tatters. He has very little to no credibility left. Even if you express your support for him, people are just not going to believe you anymore. Yeah.
So how did they find out about this?
Well,
How they?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. And how was a whistleblower, government whistleblower, find out about this and sent it to the media, or how did it happen?
Yeah, in a way, this is how it happened. But the whistleblower just immediately he came out in public. He didn't stay anonymous. But there are federal laws that protect whistleblowers.
Correct.
So they, but like the way they behave is not in a way that would help the people. It's I don't want to say the word, but it's like a snitches get stitches. So they would become very aggressive toward any person that snitches. But if we live in the age of social media, so you can suddenly explode the truth on the world, on any medium, and the damage control that you have to do is massive. And what the hell are you going to do? Are you going to shut down the telecommunications infrastructure? No, this isn't North Korea. You can't do that here.
Right.
And, so there you go. It's a total shitstorm. It's horrible. I mean, ugh.
Yeah, what was interesting is that they were funneling all this money through these government contracts, through the Department of Education there, and that education secretary that's involved. But at the same time, while they were funneling vast amounts of money, they were closing schools.
Yeah, that was another horrible thing that was happening under the former Secretary of Education. They closed hundreds of public schools, and after that they started doing like the charter schools, which it would work if you're in a sound economic state, but not in the current condition that the island is right now. At least I believe that it's not going to work like that.
And the island's still recovering from that massive hurricane.
Yeah, and we were in a pretty bad economic situation before that, and it just got worse. So now we're in an even worse economical situation.
Right. There was already issues of government corruption and misspending of funds. Then the hurricane. And it sounds like the government still hasn't cleaned up its act, right? The government appears...
Well, they're getting caught. If they're moving people out of those positions and stuff, they are cleaning up the act as soon as they just found out about it.
They're dropping like flies. It's just... You kind of don't really want to know how rotten the situation is, because if you keep digging, you keep finding more bad stuff, A lot of the stuff that's on those transcripts are homophobic comments, a lot of misogynist comments, mocking people, and a lot of people are very pissed. There is a feminist coalition here that is demanding that he resign.
Sure.
I haven't heard anything from the gay community yet, but I'm pretty sure they're definitely gonna raise their voice.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very slow burning shitstorm.
wait. Stop the music. Look, last episode, some people, I'm not going to name any names, they kind of spoiled Spider-Man for all the Thunder Faithful.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Lightning Lad, Sexy Thor, what do you have to say for yourselves?
Okay, what are the rules? I mean, what are the rules for this whole spoiler business? I mean, the movie came out on a Tuesday. We ended up dropping our spoilers the following Tuesday. I mean, I felt comfortable with it because, I mean, I edited it. I'm not going to blow my own horn here. I'm just saying, you know.
Because you already saw the movie, but not everyone has.
Shame.
No, that's fair.
Shame. You should get the Game of Thrones, like, Bell of Shame. Shame.
Shame on both of you.
I mean, I'll walk naked through a city, town, square any day, but that's neither here nor there.
No, you already do that as a hobby. You guys are going to have to step up your shame game. Look.
Exactly.
I gave it a week. I added in the show notes right there, timestamps for every segment. It was clearly labeled Spider Spoilers.
Red alert. Spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
I said that in my deep, sexy voice.
In your deep, sexy voice.
Red alert. Spoiler alert.
I mean, Beth does bring up a good point, though. Beth brings up a good point. What is the etiquette? What are the rules when it comes to spoilers?
Ruining parts of a movie for other people who maybe haven't seen it yet, especially if it's only been out a week.
I'm not telling you a damn thing.
Okay.
Oh, wait. So we're not talking about the Spider-Man spoiler that's on my Camry?
Nah.
How would you have felt if somebody ruined Game of Thrones?
I don't watch that junk. Sexy.
I saw the series finale live, and I don't believe in the internet.
Well, I mean, again, Beth brings up a good point. Beth, take us to school. Let's get into this. What's up?
Well, I mean, I'm not here to school you, but you know, let's talk about it. Like, let's break it down. Like, what is a spoiler to you? What makes it a spoiler or not a spoiler if you say something about a specific show or movie?
Okay. All right. That's a good question. Good point.
Like a spoiler is like a plot twist thing. Like if somebody tells you information about some plot twist, that is definitely a spoiler. If it's certain information that you know from the very beginning, just by looking at the movie poster, then that's not really a spoiler.
Like if it's something you already picked up on in the trailer, that's not a spoiler. If the studio has released a synopsis of the general idea of the film, and you're going to go on that, okay, like it is, for an example, Spider-Man Far From Home. We have
not seen it.
We have not seen it.
So don't spoil it. Use a different example.
So don't listen to issue 10, guys.
Yeah, I tried
well, no,
not to
I
listen to
already
you.
listened to it. It's too late, but...
Oh, no.
I guess you should read the show notes, wink.
No, I don't want to tell you.
We harmed one of our own. I mean, that is why the show notes are there. I'm just,
right.
I don't want to
read the show notes.
I just click on links.
Spoilers, and it was
no
it
one
was
reads
fine.
the show notes, dude. Okay.
They should read our show notes.
There are malicious spoilers. People are going to post stuff in order to get a rise out of people. Yeah, I think we've all experienced that.
Yeah, like if somebody, like your favorite character suddenly dies, you don't know about it, but somebody decides to post about it. Like, that's horrible.
Or like when LaShawn McCoy, running back of the Buffalo Bills, posted on Twitter opening night of Endgame that Tony Stark dies. That's a kind of a big deal spoiler.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Throwing out on your Twitter.
Bleep that guy.
That reminds me of a scene in a Simpsons episode. It's a flashback to when Marge and Homer were dating. And the flashback opens and you hear the Imperial March. Darth Vader's dun 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 playing as Homer and Marge are walking out of The Empire Strikes Back. They're walking out of a movie theater, and there's a line wrapped around the block that they're walking past. And Homer yells out, "Oh my God, who would have ever thought that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's dad?" And everyone's like, "Oh my God, you son of a bitch."
Yeah, I heard that there was a whole rash of people doing that after Endgame.
See, and when you're scrolling through your Facebooks, it's not like you can selectively see and not see what comes up right in front of your eyeballs.
Sure.
Agreed.
The day that we saw Spider-Man, beforehand, I was hanging out at that movie theater for like 7 hours for reasons. Yeah, every time people were walking out of a Spider-Man or a post or the credits were going on and I heard a post-credit scene about to play, I was just like, I stayed outside that auditorium. I was like, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, I know. You were...
I avoided all spoilers that whole day.
This is a trap.
And nobody put you on blast. No Homer Simpson's walked out and told you that Darth Vader was Luke's dad.
Right.
In terms of a Twitter account, though, in terms of Facebook, if I, Friday morning, if I were to throw up on Facebook, Tony Stark dies and they beat Thanos, just boom, throw it out there.
2014 Thanos.
People are going to read that before it registers.
Yes.
They're going to be like, oh, Dan's got something to say. What's Dan saying? Oh, you son of a bitch.
Fuck you, Dan.
I try not to spoil things for people, and I will be very I use broad generalizations whenever I describe things. If I know that somebody else hasn't seen it, or especially if I know that that person wants to see it, but if they're not interested in it, then I usually feel free to spoil. But
yeah, no, that's real. Usually I'll get off on a rant about something. Well, I mean, I always get off on rants about everything. And sometimes it's about a movie. And I'll be like, hey, and I'll be talking about it. And then if I catch myself, which I don't always do, I'll be like, hey, wait a minute. Do you ever plan on seeing this stuff I'm talking about?
Because some people don't care.
Yeah, so really it just comes down to empathy and observation.
We just need like a too soon rule, right? Like, is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? How do you gauge like how much society likes a particular thing? I feel like Endgame was a pretty big deal because it was the culmination of 10 movies or something?
20-something movies.
20-something movies. That's insane.
Yeah, the Russos were helpful in that particular regard because they said, okay, spoiler gate ends like 2 Mondays from the release date. And then that's when they came out with that super spoilery Spider-Man trailer.
That was the studio. That was the executive producer, the boss of the MCU, actually publicly putting out a timestamp on when it's appropriate to begin talking about spoilers, because that Far From Home trailer that was heavy on post Endgame content dropped a week after Endgame, 2 weeks after Endgame.
Wait a second. Was this a plot for them to make more money on the movie? Because it's like, oh, you better go see the movie in theaters by this date or we're going to spoil it for you.
Ooh, if that wasn't premeditated, it was at the very least a pleasant little like side nugget, like happenstance.
Right.
Speaking of Marvel, Infinity War, they had an entire ad campaign, or tied into their ad campaign, multiple actors attached to the film. They even threw out a little catchphrase. Don't piss off Thanos, or
Thanos demands your silence.
Thanos demands your silence.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that was the MCU. That was their executive management. Actually tying in the idea. No, it's brilliant marketing, isn't it?
Yeah, and they pushed that again for Endgame after somebody apparently on Twitter spoiled some sort of major scene like a month beforehand.
There was a video of somebody taken from somebody's phone at a movie theater opening weekend of Infinity War. And a dude, oh man, I'm trying to remember, did they beat him up? Or there's a guy who's being screamed at by several people, and I think they were starting to get pushy with him because he walked out into the lobby and totally threw out, hey, everyone turns to dust.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Snape kills Dumbledore, yeah, right. And yeah, go on YouTube. It's out there somewhere. Hey, everybody, you can find us at thundertalk.org, and our email address is thundertalkpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a link to the video I'm talking about. It's out there. What's it called when you tell people to go find stuff? It's called not a treasure hunt, but
Scavenger hunt.
Go scavenger hunt YouTube that for us, and we'll say your name on the air. Yeah, I mean, this guy was being threatened physically, certainly verbally, for walking out and just bleh.
Yeah, purposely spoiling the movie for other people is a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, those are usually trolls. I feel like.
Well, they just want attention.
Correct.
They just want negative attention, and that's really their parents' fault. I'd be like, "Some bitch, give me your mom's phone number right now."
I'm gonna yell at her.
Tell me that Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time, asshole.
Darth Vader is Luke's what?
Was that person born evil, or did they get nurtured into evil?
I can't say for sure anything. But I can say nothing.
Across the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens soar, you'll behold in breathless wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor.
Yeah, this is Dan Lightning Lad Klink and Sexy Thor Adam Weston reporting live from Dave and Buster's. We're here to watch some wrestling, some WWE. You know, I'm never going to get over the E. It should be an F. WWF. But the pandas. You know what I mean? The World Wildlife Federation.
Exactly. Rep the pandas.
Yeah, the pandas wrecked it for everybody. There's a guy named Roman Reigns. Is he wrestling tonight?
Yep, he's tagging with The Undertaker.
Oh, shit, that's right. Now, The Undertaker goes back to, like, the days of The Rock. We're talking, like, late 90s, 2000s.
Before that, Undertaker debuted in 1990.
Oh, shit. That guy, he's got to be pretty healthy to keep going like this.
Yeah, I mean, he really shouldn't have any long matches, but, yeah, he can still go. He can still pull off a good old choke slam and tombstone.
I only hope to be that healthy when I'm whatever the hell age he is right now. So this jabroni right here, right? That's Vince McMahon's kid?
Yep.
And the psychopath?
Yep. Drew McIntyre.
That's like some Roddy Piper shit going on right there. I respect that. And they're going against Roman Reigns and The Undertaker.
The two big dogs.
They're called two big dogs?
Roman Reigns is the big dog. Undertaker's pretty much been the big dog for the last 3 decades.
Is that figuratively or like a trademark title associated with their brand?
Probably trademarked with Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns and The Undertaker aren't just fighting against, like, these two assholes. It's like they're fighting against privilege.
They're fighting against all the douchery that's in the WWE.
Yeah, frat boy shit. You know, that guy looks pretty good for a dude that just beat cancer.
He really does.
No, this guy looks like Aquaman.
Yes.
Yeah, like no shit. Okay, I got it.
He's also in a Shane McMahon.
Who the fuck is this guy? Who's this guy? Who's the fuck just hit Undertaker with a chair? Who's not one of the guys?
And actually, I think, was it the chair? No, it was his acoustic guitar.
Oh.
Yeah. Elias is the resident heel rock star of the WWE.
Like,
Like Axl Rose, but with a craft beer sort of beard.
Like if Axl Rose and Rambo had a baby and then teach them to play the guitar.
I mean, more like Axl Rose beats Mumford and all his sons.
So they have other friends, they have other cousins, and that was the two guys that just lost to these two guys.
Yeah, the Revival, who are like the traditionalists of tag team.
Traditionalists. They're like orthodox wrestlers.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not. Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, okay, fuck it. Break that down. Or what does that mean?
They're pretty much just all about ground level wrestling. No flips, no crazy shit, just straight up wrestle.
They're old school. They're old school.
Very old school.
They play by the book.
Exactly.
Interesting.
No, they're really not that interesting.
No, I mean, I'm just being polite, yo. sounds pretty boring, actually. Sounds like a high school wrestling team.
Exactly.
Why is this guy hanging out on the set of The Crow?
This is Aleister Black. He's a Satanist type character, but I guess kind of more the LaVeyan Satanist where you're your own god.
Oh, I'm all about the LaVeyan Satanists. I mean, if I'm going to be about, Satanism, it's definitely the Anton LaVey school of Satanism, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to be about any god, it's going to be me.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty self-evident with me, yo.
You couldn't already tell by this podcast.
That makes me a real atheist. I'm my own god, and I have no faith in myself.
I have more faith in myself than any of you have in your little pinky.
No, that's why we keep you around, dude. That's why I'm sitting here watching wrestling, professional wrestling, at a sport bar franchise.
Yes, and he's facing Cesaro, who's known as the Swiss Cyborg.
What? What's he called again?
Cesaro.
Well, what was that cyborg stuff?
He's known as the Swiss Cyborg.
The Swiss Cyborg. That's what they used to call me in high school. Wait, so it's like this black metal demon dude versus a cyborg. This right here, you sold me, brother. You sold me on this wrestling stuff. This whole wrestling business, I get it now. It's an easy correlation. This guy and The Undertaker, death, eyeshadow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of supernatural characters here in the WWE. There's Aleister Black, there's The Undertaker, there's Finn Balor, who we saw in the kickoff show lose his Intercontinental Championship to Shinsuke Nakamura. He has an alter ego called the Demon, where he pretty much like paints his top half into this little Venom-looking demon thing with fake dreads. And the Demon always wins in WWE.
You know who also had an alter ego?
Me?
Yeah, totally. Do you know who also had an alter ego?
You?
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. Do you know who also had an alter ego?
Who, Lightning Lad? Who had an alter ego?
Garth Brooks.
That's real.
He went by Chris Gaines, and he did rock and roll.
I remember. This isn't your favorite Chad's MMA fight, okay?
Your favorite Chad. Hey, everybody out there, go ahead, hit us up, thundertalkpodcast@gmail.com, and tell us about your favorite Chads. Reach out to us on the website. That's thundertalk.org, thundertalk.org. Tell us your Chad stories. We want to hear about some good Chads. And I'm saying it. I've had a few beers tonight at Wrestle Dave and Buster's night. Yeah, if Chris Gaines, Garth Brooks. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. I think we need to do more to it, everybody, but we're gonna go check it out. Also, thundertalk.org. It's not the prettiest website, but it definitely is a website.
It's still the best website on the interwebs.
Yeah. No, the World Wide Web the standards have lowered significantly, and we, by a fluke, have come out on top.
Aleister Black just won. Somebody challenged him to a fight after many weeks, and he won.
The Satanist defeated the Cyborg. The Satanist and the Cyborg. There's a story there. There's a story behind that title.
A Satanist and a cyborg walks into Dave & Buster's.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the Cyborg, so yeah. I mean, that must make you the Motley Crue fan. Yeah, dog. Yeah, dog. I'm not really drunk right now. I just drank a bunch of ice water and ate a bunch of ice, and the inside of my mouth is kind of like frozen, swollen.
Yingling Ice.
Yingling Ice.
Vince McMahon fucking loves Brock Lesnar.
My guy looks fucking terrifying. He's huge. He looks like some kind of like Russian Spetsnaz, Special Forces, like human kind of cannibal.
Yeah, you know, your description is pretty on point, and that man is from Midwest America.
I mean, you all saw Red Dawn, right? I like the remake, too. With Chris Hemsworth? Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, dude.
Yeah.
All this wrestling's taking it out of me.
So there you go. That's it for Sexy Thor and Lightning Lad. Thank you for joining us on this very special edition of Your Weekly Thunder. Now, WTLK, the Thunder.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be here, bro.
So show us some love on all the social medias and on Thunder Talk Podcast at gmail.com. Literally, we'll reach you anything.
Yeah. Thunder Talk Podcast, gmail.com. And Thunder Tot. Oh, Thunder Tots, dude. Why don't we think of Thunder Tots? It's the spin-off show where we just eat tater tots. And it's all ASMR, just nom, 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 nom.
Now you think of it, I was literally eating tater tots right before you came over.
That's thundertalk.org. Thundertalk.org, everybody. Go hit us up at thundertalk.org. Thundertalk.org life. At thundertalk.org life.
All right, so, yeah. WTLK the Thunder. Thunder Talk. Bye. Love you, mean it. Bye.
Yeah, what he said.
Thunder Talk exclusive.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again here in Studio D. Our next guest needs no introduction. Mr. Jon Rassmusen, lead vocalist and lyricist for the band Revelator. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing well.
Y'all just dropped a new album.
The EP is Isolation is Inspiration. It's 6 tracks, and basically, in a post 2016 world, we're kind of bombarded with the 24/7 news cycle, and it's a bit overwhelming, and everybody is kind of in the midst of their hatred and fear is kind of pulled back into themselves, and really, we're less social and less willing to talk to other people because we know that a large portion of the population is fairly shitty, and we didn't necessarily know that before. So it's kind of forced everyone into this weird isolation because of the just bombardment of everything that has happened in the last few years.
We're so connected and yet more isolated than ever.
Yes, we're so connected, and that makes us all want to hide.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. We've all have and have always had our lesser nature. Now,
right.
We have the
now
ability.
We see everyone else's. Yes.
Right. No, we can put it on blast. I can be a dick to the world from the privacy. Of my own shitty, broken, fearful little life.
Yes, and have very limited repercussions because I didn't use my real name.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And mask my identity throughout all of my internet, exposure to other people.
At the same time, we're seeing suicide rates skyrocketing, especially among millennials, and getting back to Generation Z. An entire generation that has never known anything other than a world on blast.
Right. But honestly, Generation Z is coming out pretty awesome.
Oh, they're my favorite.
For the most part.
They're my favorite.
Yeah.
I love...
Because, they understand that anything you do can get you put on blast. So they don't... So if they're doing something good. Because that might get put on blast too.
No, absolutely. I love the millennials as well. They're definitely getting all that figured out. It's interesting about that. What I find with Generation Z and millennials, especially the younger millennials, those on the cusp, I guess I see it from all ages. I suppose that maybe it's from those age groups I see it the most. Proportionally, like they'll get on Facebook and they'll get very personal. They'll get very deep in terms of expressing how they're feeling and where they are in their headspace. And the Gen Xer in me, living, in like the damaged shadow of the baby boomer generation sees that, and my instinct is to be like, ew.
Why are you sharing so much?
Why are you feeling out loud like that? But then you got to step back and be like, well, shit.
Well, why aren't those feelings completely suppressed within your brain?
Exactly. Why don't I hate myself the way my parents' parents hated them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes from, and really we wrote Rage over a year ago at this point. It was kind of our one-off. We wanted a new song to play on our Hoodoo Music appearance, but basically everything else kind of grew out from there. Rage is based on Standing Rock. People will blast this, if people are going to blast this EP, they're going to blast it because it's anti-Trump or whatever, but Standing Rock was pre-Trump. So, this is blasting not just Trump, but other things as well. But Rage is based off of Standing Rock and how quickly we moved on from it, and really how most people don't even remember that it happened. And that is all too common now, and that kind of, we just kept seeing that, and that's how, basically kept seeing it, and that's how the rest of the EP came into focus, and that's where it came from.
So that was not only the inspiration for the song, but that was the inspiration going into the entire EP.
Right. Yeah. Just, we had Rage as a standalone track, and then just from there, the other three following it just kind of evolved. And then, once we had the concept for that, and Isolation is Inspiration as the title, the fifth track is about divorce and going back out into the world, and that fits into the title, but not necessarily the theme of the first four tracks. And then we were done writing, and I listened to a podcast called Cool Playlist, and they did a playlist of basically every episode of that one. They do a different theme, and the theme for that one was being alone on the space station. And they came up with this whole contrived narrative where they didn't start off alone on the space station. So it's a playlist that you listen to while you're alone on the space station. But they didn't start off alone. They were there, and they were there with other people who had gone out on an outside mission and just kind of never came back. And that kind of hit me, and that's where the song Isolation came from.
Oh, crazy. So,
yeah, the song Isolation, that hidden track that's just kind of, that would have just been thrown on there is, I'm, that last survivor on the space station, kind of having in those moments when the space madness is kicking in, and you kind of go, was anyone else ever really here?
Yeah.
And right. That's that track. Yeah. That's that, and it's kind of haunting and just sparse and alone, so that's where that one comes from.
I'm sorry, Dave, but I cannot pull up for iTunes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And at some point you start to go, okay, have I just always been alone here?
Right.
Because no one's here. Did I just make them up?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Where can everybody find Isolation is Inspiration?
Pretty much everywhere at this point. You can go to revelatormusic.bandcamp.com. We're also on Apple Music, Spotify, all those, happy streaming services. You can get to any of it from our website, revelator.rocks.
Nice. What are we playing for everybody tonight?
The lead single is Rage, and we'll go with that one. And Rage, like I said before, it's based off of Standing Rock and what those people out there went through, and how we just kind of left them behind up there, and honestly, everything they said that was going to happen happened, and we just kind of moved on and haven't looked back. So
where we are right now.
Exactly. And that's, a symptom of that 24/7 constant barrage of news where, 2 days later, you're going to forget everything that happened 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, you got to sell Toyotas and Pepsi somehow,
Yep. Got to get those clicks.
That's right. Everybody, Jon Rassmusen, Revelator. The album is Isolation is Inspiration. And this is the track Rage. Coming at you
now on Thunder Talk.
Boom. All right, cool.
Across the plains at night, we burn the ancient name.
This is a 30-second ad spot for the Black Market Toast podcast, where we take a piece of media out of the cupboard, dust it off, toast it up, and serve it as something completely new.
What?
Well, it means we either listen to or watch a movie or TV show or piece of music, and then...
It's not like we just use whatever media we pick as a conversation starter.
Well, because it's fun, okay? Listen to it on your podcatcher of choice, and follow us on Facebook or something.
I mean, so there's a thing that as a government civil servant, you're supposed to guard against. You know, you're supposed to have that integrity, right? That way you can execute the duties that your office bestows upon you. And the citizens can put full faith that you're going to spend and allocate the money and resources correctly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're a government official, you have to serve the people, because that's what it is. You don't serve yourself.
That's one of my arguments against people whenever they make statements along the lines of, we should run our government like a business. Well, our government is not a business. It is a service for the people.
We are their bosses.
That's the idea.
Well, we should be. We put them there.
No, exactly.
At least in your case, you guys did. I didn't. But because Puerto Ricans can't vote for the president. Well, Puerto Ricans living in Puerto Rico... Well, let me rephrase that. Not Puerto Ricans. Anyone living in Puerto Rico can't vote for president.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's the same way for Guam, too, right?
Yeah.
Both the U.S. because, those are our 2 U.S. territories.
Mm-hmm. It's a very complicated situation. Complicated and delicate at the same time.
Sorry, I misspoke. There are 5 U.S. territories, and those are America Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know they exist. Kind of funny, that.
And it's all America.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't something that they really got into in my American history classes in school that I remember. So...
Yeah, I don't blame you. But now that you know it, you should at least, spread the word. Like, hey, we're here.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
It's frustrating, though, because that's one of those things that should be taught, but they just omit it for whatever reason. And now they're starting to actually erase things. Like, oh, well, let's just take all the stuff about the Trail of Tears out of American history. We don't need to teach that. And that's bullshit.
My cousin's husband is from upstate New York. I remember he told me that Puerto Rico and the Spanish-American War of 1898 was just a footnote on the history book.
Yes.
A footnote.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So after 400 years of Spanish rule, in 1897, Puerto Rico becomes a province. Basically, we become independent for less than a year. A couple of months later, America is at war with Spain, and they invade Puerto Rico, and they gain Cuba and Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Cuba eventually becomes independent, but Puerto Rico doesn't.
Right.
That's basically how it happened. Spain let us go for 2 reasons. 1, we're very far away from Spain, and 2, Spain was broke.
Oh, yeah. No, the empire had crumbled at that point in both economically and in terms of global relevance. Yeah, no, the best you'll hear about the Spanish-American War is maybe you'll hear about the USS Maine and how William Randolph Hearst helped to manufacture the war. So it's already right there. It's like, oh, yeah, this is how journalism impacted global politics. And then you jump right to Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders storming San Juan Hill. And then that's it. You get 2 pages on the subject. They don't talk about the 600,000 dead in the Philippines, revolution for independence against the United States after we took the Philippines from Spain. We ended up killing 600,000 Filipinos in order to suppress the Philippines and keep it as a Pacific colonial holding. like you're saying, down there in Puerto Rico, there was no chance for independence under the U.S. And as far as I understand, nothing has really changed from then until now in terms of our relationship with the island.
Yeah.
I think that it's just wrong that we don't give enough representation. I mean, if you're part of the United States, therefore you deserve to have your voice represented. In D.C.
We have a voice. We have a resident commissioner there, but this resident commissioner has no voting power. They can go to their Congress sessions, but you can't do anything. You just have to sit there and suggest as best as you can.
Right.
It's like they're at the kids' table of America.
Yes, exactly at the kids' table. And 1898, it was a very short war, very short, because they just didn't have the resources. I mean, if you go on a boat, you can get here in a couple of days from Miami, from Florida or wherever, but It's going to take you over a month to get here from Spain. So you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're not going to get here on time. Right. And that's sort of what happened. And you had no money. Like I said, Spain was broke. Your weaponry here was old and outdated. The Americans had new, fresh weapon designs. They were better trained. They had better food. It was going to happen. It was bound to happen.
Right. It was the logical conclusion of America's policy of manifest destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So this new scandal, the FBI is now involved.
Yes, and they are. It's an ongoing thing. They announced that there will be more arrests. They obviously didn't say who. But we are waiting with bated breath what happens, because you might as well sit down and make the popcorn, because this is going to get much more interesting.
Yeah, crack yourself a beer, make some popcorn, sit back, and just watch the shit show. Watch the shit show fly.
Watch it unfold. It's I don't know. The 2020 election is going to get very interesting. Much more interesting than it was. Oh, yeah. It's a very dirty thing. I personally, I really don't like talking about politics because it's a dirty subject.
It's disheartening. We're supposed to be the light of the world, and it's all right there on paper, yet then you open up a newspaper, turn on the TV, back to reality.
I'm just a regular guy. I'm just another average Joe. I have a job. I have a car. I get up in the morning. I go to work, and you turn on the radio on your car. I didn't listen to any AM radio. Now I listen to it every day, because every single day, even at certain parts during the day, more stuff just keeps exploding. And I remember the day the FBI made those arrests. Everybody at work, everybody stopped what they're doing and they turned on the TV in the conference room, just to see what the hell was going on.
Wow.
When you stop production at an office, just to it's bad.
Right.
And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get a lot worse. And there you go. Well, you see, that's what happens when you mess around with Uncle Sam. You don't do that.
Has there been any civil unrest over this? Are people organizing? Any idea or talks about taking to the streets about this? Protests, anything like that?
Well, there are a lot of protests in the streets.
Should it have gotten to this level? Absolutely not. There's the system failed.
Yeah.
In terms of the system working, when it comes to Puerto Rico, it's always a wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to assess the situation. You have to make a very thorough analysis before you actually do something, because you really have no idea what's going to happen. It's unpredictable.
Right, because that system does have some pretty deep corruption in it.
Some people are calling these what just happened this last week, isolated incidents. It might very well be an isolated incident, but you can't really take that at face value.
Right.
There are good, honest, hardworking people in the government, and there are people that are not as good, hardworking, or honest.
Right.
But you just gotta figure out who they are.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And usually, House of Cards taught me this, very interesting. When there is a leak, usually the leak comes from the top.
Right.
But, the rope is always going to break from the softest spots, so the people at the bottom are the ones that take the hit.
Right.
At least that's my understanding of it.
Right.
I'm not speaking for everyone here. I'm only expressing my
one man.
Yeah.
One man's opinion.
Yeah.
Got it.
One man's opinion. Yeah.
Is a squad podcast.
You are rocking with the best. What's good, everybody? My name is Tyler Butler. I am the host of Enough with the BS podcast. We are a sports show that takes the BS out of sports, but have a little bit of fun with it as well. We do, however, dive into some deep and serious conversations, such as allegations, abuse, and injustice. So how about you join me and Josh Smith twice a month on one of the fastest growing podcasts there is out of the Carolinas. Hope you're having a good day. Squad up. I'm out.
Let's talk about games, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good games. Let's not talk about the bad games, though. What have you been playing lately? What games have you been playing, Kawika?
I am a bit of a traditionalist, and I keep to some of my olden favorites. And be EVE Online right now, though there's a lot to talk about for that. There's World of Tanks.
Yeah.
So I like that game. And I have another game that I've been really getting into, and that's Divinity Original Sin 2.
But that game is new to you.
It's Divinity Original Sin 2 is new to me. It came out like a year and a half ago.
Okay, cool. Well, tell me about that, because I don't know really much about that game. And Tanks and EVE, I know some about that. I've seen you play it. Tell me about Divinity 2. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a turn-based RPG. If you remember things like, what was that, like Final Fantasy Tactics, where whenever it's your turn to move, it has like a highlighted area, right? Or suppose like you go to hit a button to do a particular move, it might show you the area, like the cone effect or whatever. Right, and it kind of, when it's your turn to move, it works like a game board, kind of. Like a board game board. If you have a party of 5, for this particular game, it uses D&D rule set. Okay. So you have an initiative. If a particular class has a high dexterity, they're most likely going to go first. So it's kind of those kind of mechanics. Cool. And are you saving the world? Like, what's the 2-cent version of the game story? The 2-cent version is there's now a plague, or kind of like a magical plague happening. There are these beings that feast upon magic, right? Okay. And so this continent has they have gathered together all their sorcerers and wizards and stuff like that, or anybody that can even slightly use magic, and they have put them in concentration camps, or at least one big camp called Fort Joy. And it's your job to you want to get to the bottom of why these void waken
why are they attracted to this magic? So that's pretty much the plot.
Cool.
But it's a real good game. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty immersive, and it's really easy to lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would totally give it a thumbs up for sure, or 2 thumbs up. Two
thumbs up.
Yeah. You know, everybody if you're into turn-based games, it's a pretty good one. You should give it a shot.
Cool.
What about you? What are you playing right
now? Of course, I'm playing Just Dance 2019. That's one of my games. Love it, you know. And of course, I'm sure everyone knows what Just Dance is. And if you don't, you know, it's one of those dancing games where the screen shows you the moves and you mirror them and you try to be as precise as you can. I always enjoy playing the Just Dance games. And Just Dance 2020 is coming out later this year, so that'll be cool. But also another game, it's kind of like yours. Like, it's not a new game, but it's new to me. Stardew Valley.
Wow. I've seen you've gotten really involved in this game. Like, you've become a little bit obsessive.
Well, here's the thing. Stardew Valley, so I've done lots of research on it, of course, because I started playing it and I kind of like wanted to know things about the game. But I guess Stardew Valley was created by someone who played the game Harvest Moon, which is not anything I've ever played, but he enjoyed that game and he made Stardew Valley kind of based on that same sort of system. But Stardew Valley, the 2-cent version of the story is you inherit a farm from your grandfather, and your little character gets like tired of the drudge of working in an office and just quits and goes to live and restore this farm that you inherited from your grandfather, which is in Pelican Town in Stardew Valley. And you farm, but you forage and you make friends. You can even romance people in the town that are single and eventually marry one of them.
You build barns. Do you mend fences?
Yes. Actually, you do mend fences. So I built some fences in the game for my chicken coop. And then one day I came out and my fences were messed up. I was like, what the hell? I didn't know the fences would degrade, but they do, and you have to mend them.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I would have thought it was a fox. You know, the fox is always getting in the hen house.
Yeah, there were no foxes, but that's another thing is if you don't build a fence and, like, take care of your animals, they can get stolen by, foxes, I guess. It doesn't say what animal, but it's like your chickens could, like, disappear in the night, and then the other chickens will be upset. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and they probably won't.
I always build a fence. I'm like, anal about that sort of thing. I like build my fences. I'm not letting my chickens out. I don't want them to get away.
So you're really enjoying it?
I am, and I do get really involved with it because it's one of those games, kind of like The Sims, where even though the gameplay is different, you constantly have things to do. And so it seems like every time you finish a task, oh, here's another thing that I need to do. And plus, you only have so much time, and time moves very quickly in these games. So it's like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. Always have a ton of things to do. And I'm trying to do things before I forget to do them. And sometimes I forget to do things anyway. But I mean, I have fun. And you're just so busy the whole time. Like, you don't even have a chance to get bored, really, because there's just...
That's good game design.
Yeah.
So, you stream this a little bit, right?
Yes.
Where can our listeners find you?
Oh, well, if you're interested in watching me stream Just Dance or Stardew Valley, or, maybe I'll throw some other games in the mix, I am on Mixer, so that's mixer.com/Noplahoma.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. So those are the games that we're playing right now. And we're really interested in what games you're playing right now.
Yeah. Talk to us. Get on Facebook or find us on Twitter. Talk to us. Let's talk games.
there's going to be a new Bond, or rather, a new 007. It's been leaked. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed. I'm reading an article here today, July 15th, stating that the information is actually leaked. So in terms of confirmation, I guess we're still waiting on that. But it looks like Lashana Lynch, she played Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel, will be taking over the mantle of 007. This is a first in so many ways for the James Bond franchise. Thoughts?
Wow. About time. Congratulations. Amazing.
I'm super excited about it, for sure.
Awesome.
This is, I think, something that the Bond franchise could certainly use. Something
Yeah.
different. You know, it's been a string of dudes for, oh gosh, how long? Over 50 years.
Yeah, the 60s, sometime in the 60s, I guess.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is, James Bond, the role was cast as a male secret agent, right?
Ian Fleming was the original author. The character was originally always a male figure, going back to the beginning. And the women were, by and large, sort of accoutrements. Or villains. Not to say that their roles have always been two-dimensional, especially when we get to, like, say, Halle Berry and after that. And even before. But never have we had a woman taking center stage in the Bond franchise until now.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. Of course, historically, it was women were a set piece, if you were. Something to draw in eyes.
I mean, there was a character fully called Pussy Galore, so if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the nose, in the nose. It is the nose.
So I wonder how they're going to handle the change off as far as the movie goes. Are they saying now for sure that 007, it's just a title? Somebody holds it. Somebody occupies that seat for a moment.
Well, 007 is a number, so it's not like sports where it's like, oh, well, this person was such a big, important person that we're retiring their number. It doesn't work like that when it comes to spy work.
Exactly.
In the movie Casino Royale, Judi Dench's character, speaking to Daniel Craig, she reminds him that those with a 007 designation do not last long. So in that bit of dialogue, it kind of establishes that indeed, yeah, you're both right. The 007 is a designation. I even got the impression that the name James Bond itself, that's not their born name. That's not their Christian name, if you will. That the moniker of James Bond is also part of the designation. It's like it's
well,
an
it would
alias.
make sense too having different people be James Bond, because if people are looking for James Bond, but whoever quote unquote James Bond is changes every few years, it'll be hard for other intel to keep up.
Like, how can all these dudes have the same name? Well, because that's not really their name.
For sure.
So Lashana Lynch's character will be indeed 007, but not James Bond, if you will. What I have here, the synopsis that's out right now, we're citing Time Magazine on this. While Daniel Craig is returning to play James Bond himself, according to this leak, Bond begins the film in retirement and is called back to active duty when a crisis hits. In the MI6 office, he meets the new 007. Not the new Bond, but the new holder of that alias, a woman named Naomi, played by Lynch. Craig has been saying for years that he wants to retire from the Bond role. It's possible that after the yet unnamed 25th Bond film, Lynch will take over the franchise for him, or at least star in a spinoff.
Yeah, very cool.
I love it.
What I am kind of curious is, are we going to see pushback from the incels?
We already are.
Really? Really? It's already hit Twitter, and they're like, "Ree!"
Yes.
Well, I mean, you see how pissed off people got about Ariel, and that's a cartoon, literally a fairy tale, fake story, and people are pissed.
It looks like he's being replaced by a woman, a role that has classically been a very macho at times grabby white dude. Now that's all changing. And you know how we have people that don't like change, people that don't really like women, and people that don't like people that aren't white.
And people that don't like progress.
People that just don't like progress. So we're hearing a lot of that on the internet.
They just
right
don't
now.
like stuff. They're just mean. You know, there's always that person in the office that's just mean.
Right. And I don't know what, I don't know what to tell them at this point. Yeah, like you were saying, the whole Ariel thing, how it will be an African-American woman playing Ariel in the upcoming live Little Mermaid.
Right.
I don't know what to tell these people who just lose their shit every time the studios want to move forward.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I also think that these studios, they're telling the same old stories, right? And they've told the same old perfect little white girl princess and normal white dude story, you know? And of course they're telling the same story. Of course they want to mix it up.
Yeah, 25 movies of Bond as a grabby British white dude, and now it's time for change.
Now it's time for change. Yeah. So I don't know what to tell these people that can't handle it. Hide under your bed. Know that every day there'll be less and less reason for you to go give your money to the entertainment industry.
Well, that's just it. It's all stories. It's all fiction. You can get mad about something like there are a lot of people that get upset when there are trans roles in TV and film, but they don't cast trans actors. That makes sense. You can get mad about that. Or you can get mad about if they're telling someone's story, true life story, and then they change details of it. Yeah, you can get mad about that. But you can't really get mad about changes in fiction because it's fiction anyway.
It's all just a bunch of made up anyway.
Exactly.
I wonder how many new fans this is going to bring into the Bond franchise. Having Lashana Lynch now playing 007. I wonder how many new fans this is going to bring into the fold. And once they're there, how they're going to feel about looking backwards. Like, oh, cool, I really like this movie. I want to go check out the back catalog on this. If they're going to try to thread that loop, how much like new world building they're going to do. If this is going to be from a narrative standpoint, like a reboot in a sense, you know what I mean? Because obviously I'm guessing that the sensibilities are going to have to completely change. I mean, even Daniel Craig was a bit forceful in his intention with some of the other female characters.
This does give them an opportunity to definitely and definitively branch off from a Bond forcing themselves in some way on a woman, right?
Oh, I would imagine it would have
They can change that narrative now, and they can focus on some type of mystery, British international something happening.
Right.
And then they also have this story now in place that they can rotate more easily with new people in that same chair.
I mean, it's the right time to do it. Obviously, James Bond has been around for decades, millions of fans, and by yesterday's rules and sensibilities, I guess it was okay. It was okay for Bond to behave the way he did. The box office kind of plays that out. To be cynical, to be just double real about it. Now, those same values and sensibilities don't fly anymore. You know, we're in the Me Too movement era, and I don't see how they can keep moving forward. And I think they probably had a hard look in the mirror and had that same conversation.
Yeah, and this will be a good transition because if they bring another man back into 007 later, having a female in between, that's a nice way to transition back, and the man can be a different kind of man.
Oh, there you go. In a way, this almost frees the franchise. It frees it from its elements of its past self.
Now, they should definitely keep her as the new Bond for several more movies.
007.
Yeah, 007. And I say that, but that's before I see how well it's done. And I will withhold my pure judgment until I see it.
Well, I would think that they would keep her in the role for a while, but just as we were saying, 007 doesn't last forever, so she'll be 007 for a while, and in the future it'll be someone else.
Yeah, it could be, who knows?
Yeah, that'll be the name of the movie. 007, Nothing Lasts Forever.
That sounds like a 007 movie.
Exactly. 100% Bond.
Totally does. Totally does, right?
Maybe next time they'll really piss everybody off and, put like an androgynous person in as 007 and really blow some minds.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
There you go. They'll use motion capture and they'll bring back David Bowie to play 007.
Oh my goodness.
Bowie would have been a good 007.
Right? That's a cross between like Too Soon ? And like My Wildest Dreams.
I don't think it's too soon. He would appreciate it.
Everybody wants Bowie back. Come on.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how they take this. And some of this is predicated on perception rather than execution. But will they play up the fact in the story that it is a woman? Or will they simply be, yeah, this is the new 007. Okay, cool. Let's get this movie going.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be facts. Like, oh, here's the new 007.
I think it's going to be the okay, cool.
Right.
I think we're probably going to get a big reaction from him. From what the articles are saying, it sounds like they're going to be like, oh, here comes the new 007. And he's going to be, Daniel Craig's going to be there. And then she walks through the door.
Right.
So I think that initial introduction is just going to be a big deal because he probably won't be thinking that.
Right.
His character won't be thinking that. And then it's like, oh, the, next 007 is nothing like me.
Yeah.
And then just move forward with the movie.
That's where my mind was going. They'll be like, oh, hey. And she'll be like, get over yourself. And he'll be like, huh. And then, boom. Then it's just, yeah, the movie just goes.
Move forward with the movie and their life.
Well, it was kind of like that whenever they introduced the new director. It was just kind of get over yourself. I'm in charge.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, and I remember when Judi Dench took over the role of M.
Yeah.
She's just like, ugh, whatever.
She was a good M.
Oh, she was a great M. Yeah, absolutely. She came about when Pierce Brosnan was 007.
Yep, in GoldenEye, I believe.
GoldenEye, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, there was a little thing about that. I remember where she's like, ugh, dude, whatever, Remington Steele. Okay, I'm the new M. Keep rolling. Just keep moving forward.
I feel like there was some initial pushback on that, but then everybody fell in line. They were like, "Oh yeah, this role makes perfect sense for this actress."
Oh, totally. You also didn't have the internet the way you do now when that came out. People aren't able to so comfortably and anonymously spit their venom all over the world as they can now. But hey, they don't have to go see it.
I say branch out. Go see it. Go try some new different things. You might just like it.
See it.
Hello. Have you ever wondered how much Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster sold Superman's rights to DC for? Or which popular football star was the Sam Wilson the Falcons' physical appearance based on? You can find all that and more at the History of Comic Books podcast, a podcast dedicated to the creators, events, history, and the companies that made the great comic book medium. Hosted and created by your friendly neighborhood JT Wheatley. Please give it a listen at iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, and all our podcasting platforms. Thank you, and go ahead and enjoy yourself a good comic book.
Are you doing some ASMR or whatever? What do they call that?
Sure, I think that's what it's called, ASMR.
What does it stand for?
Annoying people talking annoyingly.
But it's not just talking. It's
I know, it's noises and stuff, but I'm not one of those people that works for. And most of the time, most of the noises just annoy me. And the talking, because it's like, just talking like this. That doesn't really appeal to me.
So sexy. That's what isn't that what sells? It's like the sex sells. It's like
that's not really what ASMR is about. No. There are certain people that really sounds like good to them, not like in a sexy way, just like it really sounds like good to them. And for some people, it affects them, like it calms them down. There are some people who have problems with anxiety, and that they can watch a video and it chills them out.
I think there are some sounds that are more relaxing. Like you think of a bubbling brook, a creek.
Those things are relaxing to me, but ASMR, not relaxing.
What you've heard so far on the show today from our good friend in San Juan, Phillip Alexander Coss, that was recorded about 5 days ago. Since then, the situation has escalated exponentially. We have Phillip on the line right now from San Juan to fill us in on this rapidly changing and growing event. Phillip, thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, it's very late at night. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Yesterday, I was at my very first protest, my very first march. So far, the biggest that I have ever seen in my life. It got very bad very quickly. I was lucky that I was out of danger when everything went south. I had to do this. I had a moral obligation to do this. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't go, and here I am.
Well, since last we spoke, there have now been protesting in the streets, open protesting. The police, from what I can see, appear to be responding pretty violently, and a lot of people are now calling for the governor's resignation.
It's not just on the island. Everywhere in the world, and I have seen this on Facebook. There are, just so you guys know, Puerto Ricans are everywhere, on every single corner of the world, including Antarctica.
Sure.
Okay, so here we go. Every single Puerto Rican with an ounce of common sense in every single corner of the world is demanding the current governor's resignation.
Right.
There is evidence on Facebook. I don't need to show you this. All you have to do is search for it, okay? All the eyes of the world are looking upon us right now. The people are very angry, including myself. We are angry with everything that has been going on. We are fed up, and we don't want any more of this. I went to the march yesterday because, personally, I have to make a stand. And I am a very tolerant person. I am a very patient person. I am a very tolerant person, but I can't just stand by and just let everyone that's up top here just get away with it. You can't do that.
Well, you're a patriot. And it's required of us, sadly, in America at times, to be loud, to march, to be heard when our government fails us so horribly, criminally.
You have to do what you have to do, and when you get to the point that you are so pissed off that you don't care about your personal security, but you really have to put your foot down and make a difference in the world, you really, really, really have to take action. We protested in the best way that we could, and we were all lucky we got out before things got nasty, because there are always very violent elements that are always it's always going to get out of control. We were lucky that we weren't in the line of fire. I saw a lot of people with armor, gas masks, helmets. I didn't have any of that.
Right.
Obviously, common sense, when you see people wearing those items, you know that you're in a dangerous situation. So the best thing that you can do is turn around and walk away, because you do not want to incite violence. What you want to do is to get your point across, but you really don't want to cross anyone. So this is exactly what we did. We do not want to start a fight with anyone. What we want to do is to make our point heard, and when push comes to shove, obviously they are better equipped than all of us, so I'm on the losing side. So, I got my point across, and when it was time to go, it was time to go.
Right.
This is not a one-day thing. This is happening every single day that this person remains in power. Tonight, there is a march going on as we speak. Tomorrow, there are going to be 3 marches that are going to join together and storm Old San Juan. On Saturday, there will be another one, and on Monday, it's going to be even bigger. It's going to be one that could possibly even stop all traffic in the metropolitan area of the island. This is big. This is very, very, very big, and it's going to get even bigger unless this person leaves.
Tell me about the police presence. From what I've been seeing on the news, I see them firing tear gas into crowds.
They did,
You sent me a video of a woman who was pleading with the other protesters, saying, let's keep this peaceful, let's keep this calm. And they shot her in the back with a beanbag riot projectile. Shot her point blank right in the back as she was trying to tell her other fellow protesters, let's keep this nonviolent.
Correct. She was trying to keep the peace. She turned around and she was addressing the crowd. She was addressing the protesters, but she made one terrible mistake. She turned her back on the riot police. You don't do that. Yeah, she turned her back, passionately trying to address the crowd to calm down and not throw any objects to the police. You have to remember, the police are trying to keep order. And you have the protesters that are very angry, and they are very passionate. And, her mistake was that she was too close to the riot police, and she turned her back. And as you can see from the video, they shot her twice. And not even that, they shot a journalist. I read this, that they shot a journalist with a rubber, non-lethal. So far, everything has been non-lethal. There have not been any bullets, real, like lead bullets being fired.
Right.
So far, everything has been non-lethal. No live ammo.
Right.
Everything's been non-lethal. But this journalist, and this was an American journalist, I do not have the information to identify this person, but this person, unfortunately, he took a rubber bullet to the head, and he suffered a very serious injury. There have been a lot of serious injuries. There is a video on social media of a protester that was beaten by the riot police, beaten very badly. His head was split open. He bled so much that he went into shock, and he couldn't respond to people aiding him. There are several points of view of this video. Several people that I know took videos of this person. It's very difficult to try and maintain peace when tensions are so high.
The response of the SWAT team, to me, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing, is over the top.
Yes.
They're certainly maintaining order is their job. It's what they are paid to do. It's what we as taxpayers pay them to do. But that woman, she was obviously trying to keep the peace. That journalist that you just spoke of, this is America. This is happening on the streets of America today, right now, everybody. Turn on the news. Take a look. Philip, what do you want to say to people?
If you're going to protest, please, I understand that you're angry. I really do understand it. I saw it. I was there. I know that you're pissed. I really do know that you're pissed. But please, don't get violent. Because if you do so, a lot of people are going to get hurt. And I really do understand the reasons behind it. But, well, you know, they've got better equipment, so
yeah.
You know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with this, absolutely.
And, again, this is happening every day. This is going on every single day. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse unless something is done at the upper level. Every day, we are tuned into the news, to the local news. I am trying to participate on these protests. Obviously, we are all trying to look after our own personal security. We all know our rights. So there have been situations where our rights are being violated, and it's mostly because of ignorance, because of a lot of people don't know about your rights. You have to know your rights. You have the right to remain silent, and you have the right to have a lawyer represent you. So you have to be prepared. But yes, in the people are being constantly that are protesting here. When things escalate, they are being bombarded with tear gas and pepper spray on a massive level. I have a lot of very close personal friends that have been already tear gassed. It's a very horrible experience. I really do hope that does not happen to me, but if it does happen to me, I will be ready for it. I have been instructed on how to, first aid procedures, but this is not going to stop. If the people up top keep ignoring the cries for help, it's only going to get worse. I really do hope it doesn't escalate to a point where we're going to regret it. I really do hope not. Right. I don't know if you've heard about a lot of our local Puerto Rican artists like Ricky Martin. We have other artists, Benicio del Toro. You know who he is, right? A very famous actor. Yeah. We have other musicians. I don't know if you know who they are. They are very famous on the Hispanic sphere of music.
Right.
But they canceled. Most of them were on European music tours. One of them canceled his next concert, and he got on a plane. And he came to Puerto Rico to join us in the protests. Right. They all came back home to voice their opinion. Daddy Yankee, I don't know if you know who this guy is. He is a very famous singer of the reggaeton genre. Reggaeton is a genre of music that is very popular in Hispanic on the Hispanic culture, not genre, culture. On this Hispanic sphere. This person, obviously, I grew up listening to him. I mean, I started listening to him when I was 12, 13 years old. I mean, he was on an award show today, and he actually publicly mentioned he made a speech denouncing our current governor, which is very, very big. When you get to that point, the shit has hit the fan. It's very serious.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and estimate. I'm going to guesstimate, actually, the amount of people that were present yesterday.
Okay.
Conservative estimates. I'm going to give you a conservative estimate. It was between 50 and 70,000 people.
Wow.
Other much more ballpark
Wow.
figures. Some say 100,000. And a person that does study is much more on this field related to numbers. This person, I cannot confirm this. I don't have a source of information. This is just a rumor, so please don't take it seriously.
Sure.
This person estimated 500,000.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure this is an exaggeration. But I could very well say that if you're going to take an average, I would say about 100,000 people went to this protest last night. And
it got violent.
Yes, it did. Last night, it was a very interesting evening. I mean, I arrived at Old San Juan at 7:30 in the evening. I joined the protest. I left not too long after because tensions got very high. By 9 o'clock, I was already on my way out of Old San Juan because, I am not wearing any kind of protection. I had no first aid equipment, so I would be in up creek without a paddle if I got into trouble. So I decided to take cover. Because, I'm not stupid, I have common sense. So,
right.
I packed around and left. All the people that were wearing armor and gas masks and helmets, they stayed. They really did stay. And some people that were very brave that didn't have any of that, they stayed. Traffic was stopped dead. The only way that you could get out of Old San Juan was on foot. So we walked about 5 or 6 miles. So I started leaving Old San Juan at around 9:15 in the evening, and I got to a car that would take me home until about 11:30 at night. So it was just 2 hours and 15 minutes of just pure walking, and you had to, if you saw police next to you, you would just lay low. Because if you if you started inciting violence, you were going to get beaten. So we just kept our heads low and we just kept walking. So this is how it is. Again, I don't have to show you this. All you have to do is look it up. There is plenty of social media presence right now on all social media platforms, all of them. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All you have to do is look it up, and you're going to find it.
Google crisis in Puerto Rico. Put it into YouTube. It's everywhere.
Even on BBC News, we're already on the spotlight. The situation is escalating. It's going to continue to escalate on this weekend, and if this person does not leave, it will continue to escalate, and it's going to get very, very, very ugly. But I will fight the good fight. I will continue to do so in the best way that I can. This is my home, guys. This is my home. I've lived here all my life, and I have to fight. I have to fight for it. I have to protect it. I can't just leave and leave it all behind. I mean, I can't do it. I couldn't live with my conscience if I did that.
You have to fight for your home.
You have to. It's your home.
That's Phillip Alexander Coss reporting to us live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Phillip, thank you for getting the information, for getting the truth out to us. Stay safe, man.
No problems. Updates as they come.
production of The Weirdos Workshop, starring Adam Wetzner, Kawika Allo, Dan Klink, and Beth Allo.
And remember, drink, fight, and make your ancestors proud.
Honestos y generosos, honrados trabajadores, incansables luchadores, cordiales y bondadosos. Simpáticos, cariñosos, realizadores de sueños. Con sus más nobles empeños y llenos de amor profundo, noble pueblo para el mundo somos los puertorriqueños. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Ricos de hospitalidad, expresivos, elocuentes, humildes pero valientes de frente a la adversidad. Éticos con dignidad, viejos, jóvenes, pequeños. Blancos, mulatos, trigueños y con un cálido arrullo. Un pueblo lleno de orgullo, somos los puertorriqueños. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Hermanos de la alegría, del bullicio de la fiesta, a capelo con orquesta formamos la algarabía. Cada noche, cada día se notan rostros risueños, porque en los desempeños de todos los porincanos, solo una raza de hermanos somos los puertorriqueños. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Amamos a la nación que una vez nos vio nacer y luchamos por vencer cualquier extraña invasión. Nos asiste la razón como hijos caribeños. Decir a los aladeños, hermanos del continente, que amables y buena gente somos los puertorriqueños. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lo, lai, la. Lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo, lai, lelo, lelo.